which is a very impressive feat because Gon was getting speed blitzed the day before by Knuckles' warm-up punches. Hey, what's up everybody? It's LeeLos, and today we're talking about why Gon versus the Phantom Troupe is obvious. Stay steady in pursuit of your dreams and goals. You're born to win, you're made for greatness, and I definitely believe in you guys. Keep up the great work each and every day. So, hey, what's up everybody? It's LeeLos, and today I'm joined with my friend Dark World.
Yo, what's up? It's Dark World XO, or Dark. Don't actually call me Dark World XO, that'd be kind of weird.
And today we're talking about Angry Kid Gon from the Chimera Ant arc versus each character in the Phantom Troupe. How does he do against them 1v1? It's an interesting concept in general, the idea of like how strong is Enraged Gon actually, and how would he do against different members of the Phantom Troupe. It becomes really interesting because we see Gon interact with the Phantom Troupe at the start of the series and they're just like way beyond his level. But by the end of the series, Gon's a lot stronger. He's a completely different character, honestly. So it's interesting to talk about like where would he scale Gon at his absolute strongest in his kid form, because we know adult Gon, like bro, he'll solo the whole troop, but kid Gon, where would he scale against these different guys? So
yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize how strong he is even before the rage amps.
Yeah, true. Before we start talking about his matchups, we could talk a little bit about his strength. Like Dark World, you were talking about this in one of your recent videos too, about like how strong Gon gets against Knuckle.
He's basically getting blitzed and isn't even a match for like a Hatsu-less Knuckle, and he thinks Knuckle's not even using like 50% of his strength, and then over the course of like one day he basically goes relative to Knuckle and just straight up physicals. He's a little bit weaker in physical power, but
Gon, he wins a punch exchange against the Knuckle who starts the fight by saying he's going all out from the very beginning, which is a very impressive feat because like you said, Gon was getting speed blitzed the day before by Knuckles' warm-up punches.
We then see him go and fight 3 officer ants in a row with Nin. And what's really interesting about that is we see a lot of the Phantom Troupe also fight officer ants with Nin. So we have a pretty easy comparison to make between the parties and how they perform.
Yeah, it's actually crazy how much better Gon and Kilua do against officer ants than like pretty much anyone in the Phantom Troupe does. It's actually pretty bad. Like, I mean, I was talking about this in the recent video, but I didn't mention this point because it's just kind of crazy scaling. Like, we see Ramot survive a rock from Gon at the start of the Chimera Ant arc. Like, he's one shot by it, but he doesn't die, right? Then after their month of training with Bisky, Kilua just one-taps Ramot, who has Nen, just rips his head off in his base form.
Yeah, just takes his head off, man. It's insane. It's actually insane.
Just one taps him, and then we see Gon, he one taps Officer Ants that have Nen too, and like then Gon gets even stronger than this in his angry form. There's really good arguments for like angry Gon just being even stronger than base Kilua, and then he can stack rock on top of this and become like magnitude stronger. Like they become insanely broken by the end of this arc, so they get really crazy.
Right, let alone his base form. Rock more than likely being a 10 times multiplier. Then when he's enraged, we see Kilua has like an evaluation of Gon and like his Nin and aura. He's like, this guy's completely different than I've ever seen him before. Meaning this Gon is on a completely different tier, completely different level than the one that was just bulldozing officer ants, right?
Yeah, no, these guys, like, they scale so high, especially if you use like highball arguments for them. Like if you take everything literally and you highball Gon, like he just becomes disgustingly strong. Especially like in the scene where he's standing in front of Pito and Kilua was saying like, no, Gon's aura is like nothing like it's been before, like nothing like his usual aura. Gon then like gets stronger than this. Like he amps his power like 2 separate times, powering his aura up so much that it's making craters in the ground. Then he charges rock and becomes like 10 times stronger than that. So he's an insane character. And then like also his reaction speed's really good. We see Gon and Kilua are able to dodge an attack from Yuppie at point blank range. The narrator just straight up says they dodge it. It's actually kind of funny because Shoot doesn't like fully dodge it. Shoot like gets hit by the debris, but Gon and Kilua weave it. I don't know, their scaling goes crazy. And like Dark World was saying at the a little earlier, it's really crazy how fast Gon gets stronger because like him fighting Knuckle, right? Like in their last day of fighting, Gon gets blitzed by his warm-up punches at the start of the fight. 20 minutes later, he's holding his own in speed. Like, how do they even do that? You know, they're
How does that? Yeah, it's insane, bro. How much stronger he gets.
so they get stronger in really short time frames, and then like even after that month of training with Bisky, like there's a real good chance that Gon just kept training, got his physicals even higher, and that's why he's like bullying these officer ants when they fight them. We can start talking about like the Phantom Troops feats and like kind of work our way up from weakest to strongest and talk about like where Gon would kind of fit in, because right there we were kind of listing off a bunch of different Gon feats. Like some of them were medium ball, some of them high ball, just to give you guys an idea of like Gon is a really strong character. But let's start with like the weaker Phantom Troop members, and then we'll like refine it a bit more, talk more about like how would a medium ball Gon do against here, maybe a high ball here. So we'll talk about that more. Like, who would you say are actually like the weakest Phantom Troop?
I mean, by showings, it pretty much has to be Cortopi or Paku. Like, what are they doing in this conversation?
Yeah,
at all?
no, they're just
even like
they can't do it.
In Rage Gone, it's just, man, he obliterates it. Maybe even just base Gone from this arc, and people even stronger than them potentially may even have issues with this Gone. I have no idea what they do. They have no answers to anything he does. He probably just walks up to them with enhancement in and just, I don't know, just tears them in half.
Bro, honestly, take Leorio from the Hunter exams, just give him 10, bro. I think they're going extreme diff with him, bro. Like they're not fighters like Coritopi and Pakunodo. They're just kind of frauds, bro. They're like not really meant to box anybody.
Yeah, they're basically just like support, like thieves. You know, like they're more so thieves rather than like nin combatants. So they're not really supposed to be strong. I don't think you needed me or LeeLos to tell you like, yeah, Gon's gonna run them down. So
yeah, they're not really like strong characters. So we can move past them. I mean, honestly, you got to get them past like Greed Island intro level monsters first. I don't know if they can handle it, bro. Like you take Coritopi and Pakunoda, drop them into Greed Island. I think they're getting one tapped by those giants that Gon and Kilua killed, bro. I don't think they're gonna handle them, bro.
Yeah, it might be an extreme diff with Bubble Horse. Right?
Yeah, they're getting extreme diff by Bubble
extreme
Horse,
diff
bro.
with Bubbles. So
they're definitely not beating Bubble Horse.
I think we could talk about like, all right. So then we have Kaluto, right?
Yeah,
Self-admitted, self-proclaimed, weaker than the other Phantom Troop members. Like watching Feitan's battle and is like, this is unbelievable. I've never seen this level of strength before. Kind of just a self-power scale that they think that they're below other members of the Phantom Troop. Keep in mind, this includes characters like Shizuku, who can't even avoid Pike's like attacks. Shizuku cannot get off her offense because Pike is just too fast, who's an officer ant. And Gon has, like I said, he ran a gauntlet of 3 officer ants in a row in base before he was even enraged. So like that right there, that's 2 off the list. What is Kyle or Shizuku doing here? They don't do anything to this Gon.
bro. It's actually like it's really bad. Like how bad the Phantom Troop were performing against the officer ants. You know when Gon is like fighting the owl, like after he just one punches the bat to smithereens, the owl runs away. He tries to run away. He doesn't even know Gon has rock. He doesn't even know.
He just sees Gon's aura and he's like, bro, I gotta get out of here now.
Yeah, bro, because like he doesn't know about rock. Like he's running from like, in his mind, he's like, just his normal hands, he's going to cook me. I need to get out of here, bro. Like he doesn't even know rock exists. And then he sees it and gets
so
one tapped by it. So yeah, so Kaluto's not on Gon's level. Like even Gon at the start of the Chimera Ant arc might scale above Kaluto in complete honesty.
Oh man. Jeez.
I don't know how Kaluto would even do in like Greed. Like, okay, real question. Like, how would Kaluto do against Beanol, bro? Okay, it might go extreme dip. Like,
that's crazy, bro.
No, okay, so I think Kaluto probably beats Beanol.
I will say this real quick with Kaluto is the ant they were fighting was like very confident and like not trying to rush in or do anything. It was kind of like taunting Kaluto instead of actually like going to attack or anything. They were just kind of letting Kaluto hit them with all the paper, and he's like, oh, this does nothing. You know, like Gon's not gonna do that. He's gonna run up and he's gonna punch you. You know,
Yeah.
like Kaluto is not setting up that whole like paper tornado. Like none of that's happening, right? Like he's just gonna die immediately the second Gon gets his hands on him.
Bro, like, the real problem with Kaluto is it's like heavily implied that Kaluto scales below Shalnark. Kaluto's watching Feitan fight and is like, yo, this is just diabolical. I can't even fathom something like this. And Shalnark's kind of just chilling, watching it like, this is no big deal. He's actually strong. Like, this isn't even Phaeton's full power. He looks rusty. It's like implied that like Kaluto's below this Shalnark tier of power. And then we see Shalnark is getting overpowered by a peon ant, bro. Like an actual peon ant that can't speak.
That's just terrible. It is being manipulated by, you know, like an officer tier ant. So like maybe there's more nin imbued into them or whatever. We see in the Secession War that someone comments that Kurapika's aura, if he was a manipulator, could be sensed inside someone. So whenever you're a manipulator, you know, you are imbued with more aura. But I mean, bro, it's a peon ant.
Yeah, that's
like, bro cannot talk.
A speechless peon ant, bro. That's insane, bro. But you do have a good point. It is manipulated, so maybe it's a little bit stronger, but even still, that's just so bad. And he also has a line of dialogue where he looks at the peon ant's like exoskeleton. He's like, oh man, can I really pierce that shell, bro? I don't know. Like, that's...
Yeah. It's not a good look, man. Well, what about, I guess, with his autopilot? What do we think about that? What do you think?
So it's like, I mean, with the autopilot, right? Like, okay, here a couple different things to think about. I'm gonna be honest, I think Shalnark fought the weakest ant in that whole area. Because if you think about it, it's like the manipulator was so weak, it chose to manipulate a peon and thought like, oh, that's stronger than me fighting, bro. Like, and that's pretty trash. Like, that manipulator ant, the one that Shalnark was fighting, the officer, it probably was like weaker than a peon itself, but just has a manipulator Hatsu ability. Because we see other examples of that with Melioron. He himself says he's weaker than a peon, but he's actually a squadron leader. I think Shalnark fought the weakest one, but he one-taps them with the autopilot mode. But the autopilot mode, it's like he got one use out of it, and then he's like tired. He said he's going to be like exhausted for days, right? So first off, I think if Gon fights Shalnark, he's just blitzing and one-tapping him. Kind of in a very similar
like,
way to how he's
before autopilot even like is on the board, right? Like Shalnark in character isn't gonna just immediately stab himself, probably, you know. So Gon probably blitzes him whenever he tries to like stab him with the needle, and that's kind of that, right?
Yeah, and even if he goes into the autopilot mode, you would have to prove that Shalnark is like faster than Yuppie's initial attack in the palace invasion, and like at the end of the Chimera Ant arc, because Gon and Kilua were like point blank right in front of Yuppie, and they still just dodge his punch last second. You have to prove Shalnark reaches Royal Guard level speed, and there's just almost nothing that like would scale him that high. How is he going from like officer tier to Royal Guard tier in one?
Honestly, I think we're just spending way too much time even talking about this. Like, this is just... He can't win. That's what we're saying. He has no win cons, basically.
It's just like way more likely that Gon is going to blitz and one-tap him faster than like Shalnark could even do anything. And even if he uses the autopilot, Gon, if he just dodges it, he still wins. He might, like, imagine he goes into autopilot and Gon just charges up Rock and just like punches him in the head as he dashes in and dies. Him. Like,
yeah, it's like how high does autopilot really scale him so high to where he's just a whole tier above not only officer ants, but a tier above like squadron leader ants? Like, I just don't think that's implied at all. So
yeah,
he's probably not doing anything to Gon, just keeping it real.
And then Kaluto scales below these characters Kaluto would scale below Shalnark too. So it's like Gon is above that tier of power. And then you have Shizuku. So what are your thoughts on Gon versus Shizuku? You were talking about it a bit earlier.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like Shizuku literally can't get out an offensive attack against Pike, and that's just an officer ant, and we have officer ants running away from Gon before he's enraged.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, and Shizuku, we do see later, we're gonna talk about this later in the video. Shizuku low-key might be pretty strong when she actually hits you, she is able to somehow, we have no idea how this happened, knock out Nobunaga, who's like on guard, prepared for a fight. So maybe like Shizuku has some crazy AP or something. It's like, that doesn't really matter when she doesn't have the speed. If anything, it would be an extreme diff for her to somehow pull out a victory against base Gon in this arc, let alone, you know, Rage Gon that is even threatening to characters like Ninless Neferpito. We see Pito is like worried that Poof is coming in with Bloodlust because Gon might potentially like kill Komugi before Pito could either kill him or react. Either way, like, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for Shizuku. Doesn't matter which way you interpret it.
Bro, honestly, like, Shizuku struggled more with just Pike than Gon did fighting like 3 officer ants, like in the dark, basically with his eyes closed. Like, took more damage, struggled more. Imagine if you took, like, you know that scene where Gon was standing in front of Pito and Kilua was like, you know, even Pito can't beat Gon without Nen, this version of Gon. Imagine Shizuku standing there, and she's like, wow, even Pito can't handle Shizuku without
Pito can't handle Shizuku, yeah. Like, I mean, like, I've no reason, like, the only way Shizuku stands a chance is if, like, they strip, which I have no reason to believe that they're gonna do that here. Like, Shizuku just gets clapped, man. It's wraps.
Yeah, like, it's just Gon scales higher, does better against better opponents. He's just gonna win. Like, a lot of these guys, Gon's just going to run up to them and hit them with the running rock, and they're going to die. And like,
yeah, and that's something we haven't even talked about. His 10 times multiplier in power, Jonkin Rock, is something he can just do on the run and just easily outspeeds Owl with it and literally just knocks him into orbit. So a lot of them just don't have an answer to that.
Bro, Owl had a head start and Gon just instantly caught up and one-tapped him. Like, yeah, it's like when he starts. So the problem with running rock is like he also dodges an attack before he hits him with it. But that's like in the anime. In the manga, we just see the Owl trying to punch him and then he gets sent flying the next panel. But the problem with running rock is like unless you can speed blitz Gon or you have a long range attack of some kind, the moment he starts it, he pretty much just wins. A lot of these guys aren't able to survive this level. Another thing you can say real quick is like we saw Gon when he fought Knuckle, like you said, he was able to like win a punch exchange against him, right?
Right.
And then he gets way stronger than this by getting angry and he like continues training, gets his base stats even higher. And Knuckle is like on par with Kite physically. This is just a way higher tier than like characters like Shalnark or Shizuku could handle. Like Gon legit might beat them all without using Hatsu. Like
yeah, no, genuinely, it's really not that crazy to think about that this could be the case. Like a lot of these weaker Phantom Troupe members, like I said earlier, they're more so like support members. They're not really the fighters of the team. And there's actually a statement about that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I think we said it. I think someone else we can even throw in there is Bono, who I just think gets obliterated. So Bono, he like strips down, right, and like goes into his super battle armor, right? It's like his super secret clan ability and basically does no damage to an officer ant. And then we see at the end of their battle, the officer ant is just exhausted. He's like wheezing constantly on panel. There's at least 3 or 4 panels. The officer ant's just wheezing. So it's really just like an endurance thing that Bono has over him. And then we see Jupiter, right? And it's like, well, okay, Jupiter's really strong. The ant literally senses it, turns around, and can react to it. It's not even like a fast... Think about like Jogo's Maximum Meteor. It's like a very slow-moving attack. And this officer ant is reacting to Jupiter, is gone. Not going to be able to do the same thing. You know, and then it's kind of also seems like this ability is only activated when he's completed his like full dance routine. Now that's not something that's like confirmed. It just kind of seems like that's the play. It seems like he jumps into the air and then launches Jupiter at the end of his dance routine. It just kind of depends how you interpret the panels, but I think the fact that he's going into his special battle armor and can barely even damage an officer ant, if he does that in character and thinks he can rival Gon's power, even in just enhancement, and I'm gonna just be honest, I think Gon just punches him down and just beats him down with just straight claws. I don't know what you think about it, but yeah, no, I think Bono's just a fraud.
I mean, I was just thinking, imagine Bonolenov just doing his dance, like he's standing there doing his dance, trying to charge up his Hatsu, and Gon just running rock sends him to the moon, bro. Just like one taps him with it while he's mid dance.
In character, bro, like he starts off with that armor and like tries to like strike you down. If he does that to Gon, he's getting sent to actual Jupiter. He's getting sent to outer space. It's over.
So like when it comes to Bonolenov, like his most impressive scaling is him being hyped up by some actual fodder characters in the Succession War arc. He's like cosplaying as Hisoka. He's using his Hatsu ability to like look like Hisoka, and he's one tapping some real fodder characters, right? Like these guys are probably they might even be weaker than the Shadow Beast that like Uvogin was one tapping. That's a debatable thing. I guess that could be its own video, like the Shadow Beasts versus like these fodder Nen users in the Succession War. But one of them, they're looking at Bonolenov while he's disguised as Hisoka, and they're like, oh, this guy is super strong. He could handle like our whole family on his own. But there's also dialogue where these guys are saying like, when they find out that Hisoka is a floor master in Heaven's Arena, they're like, oh, I don't know if we can handle him. He's a floor master, guys. Like, they're not strong, is what I'm saying. Like, so Bonolenov's like biggest hype up moments is him being hyped up by like genuine, actual, really weak people. But the moment we see him fight anyone who's like has any strength at all, he kind of struggled. Like, yeah, like the point you made of his first Hatsu ability actually just bouncing off of like an officer ant's chest is crazy.
Yeah, it's so bad. And the fact that in character, you know, he's on the offense doing that attack against Gon, you know, if they clash or something, it's not going to be some sort of evenly matched clash where, you know, they're both hurt from the attack and recoiling from it. Like, Gon's just going to be standing over a dead body. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, like a good way to put it, it's like, so Bonolenov, he's like the first tier in the Phantom Troupe where I think Gon, it's debatable on whether or not he needs his Hatsu ability. Like the one's weaker than Bonolenov, I don't really think he needs it. But Bonolenov, maybe he needs it, but he still might not, right? Because it's like Gon legit, when he's in his angry and raged form, legit might just be physically stronger than people like Knuckle, who's on par with Kite in physical strength. So it's like you have someone who might legit be physically stronger than Kite. Really, could Bonolenov box Kite and not just die, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? And like,
yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, there's no way to spin it to where Bono even like pushes him to a high diff, you know, let alone forcing him to use rock.
Yeah, Gon just kind of bodies him, and it's like at worst case he running rock diffs him, but he legit might win without Hatsu as well. I think that's the more debatable thing. It's like, does Gon need Hatsu?
Yeah, does he even need his That's the question. Okay, all these characters we've talked about so far, don't think, all right, can Gon beat them? Think more so, does Gon even need his Hatsu?
Yeah,
that is how strong he is at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Like this guy, I mean, I really think it is crazy. It's pretty underrated how he just dodges Yuppie's attack while he's not even in his like max rage form, because he dodges it there, and then like when he's in front of Pito, his aura spikes up way higher, and then there's like 2 other scenes where his aura like increases beyond that.
It is crazy how high you could really highball him, honestly. I think we're pretty much past most of these characters. There's nothing else to be said. I guess Franklin is someone else we missed. He sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I have to say. You can go.
Yeah, no, Franklin's just kind of a feetless fraud. I mean, so it's like all we have for Franklin, right, is like we know when he was a kid, before any of these guys knew Nen, Franklin and Uvogin used to box each other, but that doesn't really matter. Like, he was just a large child, basically. That's all. They could box a little bit. Then we see like him and Nobunaga have a small clash, and neither one gets hurt. He's also like pretty delusional in the Succession War. All the other Phantom Troop are like going into teams to hunt down Hisoka. Franklin's like, nah, I'm just gonna be by myself and I'll win if he fights me. Like he's a pretty delusional guy, bro. There's no chance he's fighting Hisoka and winning. So yeah, I mean, one other thing you could say about him, his Hatsu ability, he shoots like aura bullets from his fingers, and he chopped his fingers off when he didn't have to do that, and it like added a condition that makes his fingers like his Hatsu's like stronger than bullets. But like that doesn't really mean much, you know? It's like, who really cares?
Right, like Gon either could just aim dodge, outspeed, hit him before these bullets even come out. Like there's so many ways that Gon could handle this that it doesn't directly involve him getting it. Like the best thing I see for Franklin is if Gon's just sitting there charging a paper and not protecting the rest of his body, which is like he does use like Ryu pretty consistently like for rock, but like if he knows he's fighting an emitter, why would he do that?
Yeah.
That just wouldn't be smart. Like we see Gon isn't dumb. He's not going to do something like that. So it's hard for me to see Franklin doing anything, especially when the limits of his power are pretty much completely unknown. So
I mean, like, if guns were considered like powerful in Hunter x Hunter, then normal people would have been able to handle Greed Island, you know, like just give guns to some of the people in Greed Island and they'll be all right. But like they're not considered that strong. Another thing, we see Kilua. This is actually like right after Kilua removes the Nen Needle and he goes to fight the Ortho siblings, those people with the darts. He's dodging like a Nen sniper rifle bullet at point blank range, and like Gon is like relative to Kilua, and like honestly there's real arguments for him just being like overall stronger and maybe even faster than base Kilua. I don't know, that's like a debatable thing. Some people don't think so.
Yeah, it's like I would say it's fair to say they're at least in like the same tier, in a similar tier, but based on Melioran's assessment, like he sees a little bit more in Kilua. Maybe that could imply, you know, he's stronger, something like that. But it doesn't seem like they're miles apart at this point.
Yeah, they're really relative, and like that scene, like in the manga, it's more like talking about their potential, and it's like it shows like Gon actually has more potential because he says like Kilua has the potential of a squadron leader, but Gon, his potential is a bottomless pit. Bisky also says the same thing. Bisky, when they're training in Greed Island, Bisky's like, she doesn't directly talk about Kilua's potential. She's like talking about their strengths. And one of the strengths she says for Gon is he has bottomless potential.
Right, like doesn't she say like Kilua's stronger right now, but Gon has like higher potential?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, that's like exactly what she says, and then she like goes further and says like Kilua's a sapphire, Gon's a diamond. But yeah, I mean the Gon versus Kilua stuff is really interesting. Like at the start of Greed Island, they were both weaker than Beanalt, even working together. But like 10 days later, they're both stronger than Beanalt 1v1. So like in theory, right? If you take that Gon who just beats Beanalt 1v1, have him fight Kilua 10 days ago, he's low diffing Kilua. He would beat Kilua and Gon at the same time, really. But like they just both get really that's actually an argument. I don't think I've said this before in a video, but you can make the argument that you take the end of the arc version of Gon and Kilua, or just Gon, he solos the start of arc Gon and Kilua every time, like even Chimera Ant arc as well.
Yeah, that actually is interesting. Yeah, he just makes massive leaps, and that's because his potential is so high in the series that he's able to just grow so fast. Like, I didn't even realize this. LeeLos was telling me earlier. Gon, like, the entire series of, like, where he's starting off fishing and meeting Kite to where he basically becomes an adult, he's 12 basically the whole time. Or only, like, 1 year of time passes, and think about how much stronger he got, you know, throughout that entire time. It's insane. His potential, there's a reason like Hisoka is always like tying cherries in his mouth when he sees Gon. It's really because like there's a reason though, is because Gon is like crazy, you know.
Yeah, I think Gon actually has more potential than Jing. I think that's like what he's like meant to represent. Also, it's like he wasn't even training that entire 1 year time, right? Like a month of it, Wing told him he can't train, and the whole York New City arc, he's not really training there either. So he just has insane potential. Like I've seen people say before, like one of his biggest feats is being like relative to Kilua at all, which is true because like Kilua legit has an 8-year head start. Gon really shouldn't ever be comparable to him, but he just like is anyway.
Family full of nin users, you know, master assassins. It's just he has so many advantages that Gon doesn't have access to.
Bro, on a quick side note, something I said before to someone, I was like, imagine, like, think about how much Kilua's assassin training really does help him, though. Like, if you remove that, right? Like, he doesn't have, like, any of his kit. Like, he wouldn't have Lightning Hatsu. He wouldn't have Godspeed. He wouldn't have his yo-yos. He wouldn't have any of this, like, almost anything, you know? It's really interesting. It's really interesting. But yeah, now we've gone through like all the weak members, like the.
Wait. We forgot Machi.
Oh yeah, Machi. So we can talk about Machi next.
I don't see a win con for Gon.
Oh, you know, Machi just low dips.
Machi stomps, no diff.
Machi, no diff.
Moving on.
Oh wow. Honestly, so like Machi's interesting because she does have like a really good statement from Kilua at the start of the series where like Gon and Leorio are sitting there and he's like, okay, just pretend that Machi and Nobunaga are like two Hisokas sitting over there. What are your thoughts on that like statement overall?
All right, like if I were to debunk that hypothetically, if I'd like really hated Machi and, you know, wanted to debunk that, I would say just apply some basic literacy and you know, context to the statement. Kilua was just trying to give Gon an example of something he would understand, right? Like, think about someone that's as strong as Hisoka. These are people that are extremely dangerous. He's just trying to convey these people are not to be trifled with. So just pretend that it's these people that are really strong that are your enemy, you know? But that's only if like Machi wasn't that strong, which we, you know isn't the case.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure she would just actually solo the palace invasion on her own, to be honestly. Just
honestly.
Just fight Meruem and the royals by herself. Just wire dips them.
Other than that, we really don't know. Like, we have no real, like, strength or, like, speed or, like, any type of real... Like, the only feat I could really think for her is when Uvogin's getting, like, yoinked away by Kurapika. She throws, like, a Eam needle on him. It's like, where does that scale? I don't know. Do you know where it scales? I don't know.
No, it's like hard. I mean, so there's some like interesting things you can say about her. Like there is this one scene in York New City where like Phinks is like they don't know if some of the Phantom Troupe are being like controlled by Kurapika, and Phinks is like, if Machi's being controlled, we'll just kill her, and she's like, well, it's not gonna be easy for you. So like maybe she could like do some damage to Phinks before she gets pieced up. I mean, and then other than that, we just see her get like low diffed by Hisoka, which isn't that bad of a feat because
I mean,
like
it is Hisoka, but
yeah,
still.
I mean Hisoka's low diffing like pretty most of the Phantom Troupe. Hisoka's low diffing as well. So in the arm wrestling, she beats Crollo.
Okay, I guess that is something. If you think the characters are using, you know, Ren or whatever in the arm wrestling, that is something, I guess, to go off of. It kind of depends on how you interpret that. Do you think it's just raw strength? Do you think it's Nen? Whatever. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, okay, so it is interesting, right? Because I think you would have like good takes on it too, because like Demon Slayer also has this, and you've probably like used this argument in Demon Slayer a lot. It's hard to say exactly what this represents. It's not their like combat strength. Like if, say for example, you like Machi beats a lot of people beat Crollo in the arm wrestling, bro. Like Machi, Feitan, and Franklin all beat him. So like in arm wrestling, they're stronger than he is, but he probably just punches harder than them still. You know, like
yeah,
he might.
It's like a lifting strength feat more than, you know, like a power feat. Like it doesn't mean you hit hard if you have good arm wrestling. And like this isn't even to mention arm wrestling is technique in it. You know, like what if you just have really good technique, or like your muscles or arm length give you an advantage, or like your hand size. I don't know. You know, there's so many random factors to that as well. and we don't know the context of if they're using Nen. There's so much to it that I'm not gonna say it's like unusable, but like there's just so much context missing. It's hard to make any definitive claims based on it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like another thing is it's not like they're using their Hatsu abilities. It's not like a measure of the Hatsu strength. So like even if you wanted to say Machi has more physical strength and lifting than Crollo, which I think that's like the safest thing you could say. Maybe like the most highball thing you could say is that she has more lifting strength than him. That doesn't mean her Hatsu is like stronger than his is, you know. Especially since he has so many of them. Like honestly, Crollo, you can make an argument Crollo would solo the Troupe like by himself. So yeah, like scaling higher in arm wrestling doesn't mean you're like actually a stronger fighter or have stronger physical punches or anything like that. I think at most you could say it's like lifting strength. It is interesting though how Gon at the start of the series does overpower Nobunaga in arm wrestling, and they are shown both using Nen, which is kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy, but
yeah, I think that just goes to show how much, you know, Gon can get enraged and how much of a power boost he actually gets from it, considering he did not know anything about like Ken or Ryu or anything at this point. And you know, the Phantom Troupe, say what you want even about the weaker members, I think be a massive stretch to say they don't have advanced Nen that Gon learned at like what 4 months after learning Nen. You know, like these are all extremely like high level Nen users relative to the rest of the world. So I think it would be weird if they didn't have advanced techniques. If Nobunaga was using some, you know, advanced form of Nen, this is just crazy for Gon and pretty consistent with how much his, you know, Nen and aura can increase in strength based on his emotions.
Yeah, I mean, and Gon is just kind of crazy. His rage amps are just really weird. But yeah, I mean, so when it comes to Gon versus Machi, right? She is like really hard to scale. Let me put it like this, right? If you highball Machi and you say like, oh, this Hisoka statement is literal, then okay, then that would mean Machi's stronger than Gon. But using like all of the other things we've been saying is what the actual more medium ball interpretation is, like, which I would just say is the more accurate interpretation. She's not actually on Hisoka's level. We see that. I actually do think Gon might need his Hatsu ability for her, and she just gets running rock diffed.
Probably. I mean, I don't know, bro. Hisoka like restrained her, and she was like, "I'll kill you." And Hisoka was probably so interested in her strength that he just let her live.
True.
Low key.
True. You know what? I didn't think about it like that. You know what? True, bro. Like, I mean, Machi though, like I've spoken to other people about this, and I've seen people say that they think Machi would just skill diff Gon, but it's like we don't really see her do anything that skilled. She is like implied to be gifted though, because she could see Nen before being taught Nen. Like she was born like able to see it.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is true in the flashback.
So like Machi is kind of interesting. Like I wish we had more actual scaling for her, but we just actually don't. We don't see her fight anybody other than just like normal human beings. Oh, and that's another thing, bro. We see the Phantom Troupe like weave guns. A lot of like the weaker members are weaving guns in the York New City arc too. So like guns aren't considered like a really fast thing in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, so I think that's enough about Machi.
I think she gets running rock diff.
Yeah, probably a rock victim. Yeah. Honestly, maybe not even that high, depending on how you interpret her. But we kind of get to some of the more combat members of the troupe, like Feitan, Nobunaga, Phinks, Uvogin. Who do you want to go over first here? Like Feitan?
I think we should go like weakest to strongest, and I personally have them scaled like Nobunaga, then Phinks, then Feitan.
Okay, Nobunaga gets knocked out by Shizuku. Gon wins.
Yeah, no, that's actually like one of the worst anti-feats any of the Phantom Troop members have. Like, I think Nobunaga is a glass cannon. That's my stance on him, bro. I think he's just like the glass cannon Phantom Troop member. What do you think about all that?
Like, okay, let's say Shizuku actually just is like crazy, has god tier AP, and that's why he was like knocked out. Or maybe she has some other like ability that can knock you out or something that we don't know about, right? Like, just give him the benefit of the doubt, okay? What happens if he uses his like simple domain / ability? Well, Gon has scissors, and you know, Gon has so much aura at this point that he's in the conversation with the ninless Neferpito, right? Is that not strong enough to cut through Nobunaga's sword? You know, regardless of how long he's had an affinity with, like, he could have licked it, did whatever with it, I don't care. I don't see how, if Gon runs up with scissors, and keep in mind, he knows Nobunaga's abilities in character, right? Like, he has intel on him. I think he might just be able to cut through his sword with scissors, and then what is Nobunaga with enhancement gonna beat up and rage Gon? I think he probably just gets took from there.
Yeah, no, that's honestly a really good argument, because I would put it like this. Without his N radius thing, he stands actually no chance. That's my stance on it. I think without it, just the fact that he's actually getting one shot by Shizuku is really, really bad. And we do get statements like he would fight side by side with Uvogin, and Uvogin would like get stronger because like Nobunaga was weak compared to him. Or he was like protecting Nobunaga would make him stronger, and they were like friends and all that. And we do get statements like different emotions make you stronger. So him protecting his friend like was making him amped. But yeah, Nobunaga is I just view him as a glass cannon, bro. It's he does have like some dialogue narrative scaling, because there's this like Phantom Troop fanboy in the Succession War, and he calls Nobunaga, Feitan, and Phinks the commando team. And it's also stated by him that there's a Phantom Troop wiki page in verse, so it's like that might be their name. Like, they might just be considered all in one tier by the Phantom Troop fanboys. So you could make arguments like maybe he's relative to Phinks, maybe he's relative to Phaeton, but I don't know, man. I don't really think he is. But what do you think about that? Do you think like you could, like, just that title, the commando team, makes him relative to these guys, or what do you think?
I think it's more so indicative of that squadron of characters is more so the characters that are stronger than the weaker characters. I think it's relative to the weaker Phantom Troop members, rather than it being, okay, they're in a similar tier. Maybe they are. I think it's more so in reference to, you know, like we see Crollo earlier in the series is like, oh, Shizuku's like a support type, right? Or is it Shizuku, or is it like Shalnark or something like that? Yeah, so like we know they're classified like in certain groups. You know, maybe they're just classified like that because the other members aren't as tailored for combat. You know, there's so many different ways you can interpret that to not mean they're directly relative. Even if it is, I mean, I still don't see it really changing that much based on, you know, what I was talking about. I mean, even if he hits Gon, like, is he going to be able to kill Gon in one shot if, you know, someone like Pito, who's closer to Komugi or whatever, when Poof walks in, thinks Komugi might die from Gon if Poof comes in with Bloodlust? Does that mean Pito can't one-shot, like with no Nin, Gon? If that is the case, why is Nobunaga scaling to Ninless Neferpito? I don't see why that would be the case at all. Like, so even if he doesn't get one shot, like Gon could just like punch him after, just beat him down, and that's it. That's the fight.
I mean, you like something I just remembered. Crollo actually like kind of refers to Nobunaga as one of the fighters too, because like Crollo's like, Nobunaga, you and Uvogin like dedicated your lives to protecting like these other weaker members. Like Crollo says that too. So like that like kind of further implies that like the Phantom Troop, they have roles, and that's actually stated by them. Like some of them are the intel members, some of them are just support. Shizuku is like cleanup. That's her whole job, really, is like to clean up the scene. The commando team, quote unquote, like their whole thing might have just been you guys fight. So it's like Nobunaga, Uvogin, Feitan, and Phinks. I think they're like meant to be the fighters. But that doesn't mean that they're all like equal or really even relative. I think the only two that are really clearly relative would be Phinks and Feitan. They're like more depicted like side by side fighters, but even that's debatable.
Right. And really, I think the cherry on top is Nobunaga literally just flares his aura up and tells them, yeah, if you come near me, you're going to die. He tells that to Gon and Kilua. Gon knows that's his ability. Gon has seen him up close. He knows he could probably just paper him from a distance if he really is that weary of him. Like, I think really intel, plus the fact that he should just scale massively above him, you know, not only in power, but I honestly think probably even speed. It's a tough look for Nobunaga, genuinely.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because we never got to see angry Gon fire paper. I wonder how strong it would actually be. Like, it might be relative to like one of his normal punches, because like, so I've spoken about this before, but it does seem like Gon's paper got stronger in between him fighting Knuckle and then when he fought the Bat, because it's like drawn differently. Like in the anime doesn't show it that clearly, but in the manga, it's drawn differently. Like when he's fighting Knuckle, he fires paper and it just looks like a volleyball thrown at him. But in the manga, the paper he does against the owl is like a straight energy blast. It's like a beam. I
just thought of something like that perfectly counters him. We see Gon can move relative speeds with his paper or faster in the Knuckle fight. So he shoots a paper, Nobunaga slashes at it, and Gon just shows up right behind him, like how he did with Knuckle. This caught Knuckle off guard, you know? If that happens to Nobunaga, we saw Gon literally has time to charge up Rock and do like a quick rock whenever he's running behind them. Like what is Nobunaga's answer to that?
Yeah,
you know,
that
paper like diversion.
That might fry him. Bro, I wish Gon didn't lose his fishing rod, because the fishing rod actually is a perfect counter too. He loses it in Greed Island. Like if you look at the manga, he enters it with Greed Island and then he just leaves without it. So the fishing rod is just like...
I didn't even know that. Honestly, I don't know when he lost it.
Yeah, I think it's actually like the scene. There's a scene where right when they enter it, they get like robbed by NPCs, actual NPCs. And I think that's when he loses it. Because like...
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, it's actually pretty sad. Because if you look
crazy.
Yeah, bro, if you look at the manga panels, he enters it and it's just on his back. His fishing rod's just on his back. But then it's just gone after that scene where they like do a quest and they get tricked by NPCs. He just doesn't have it anymore ever again. His dad's fishing rod just lost to NPCs in Greed Island. I did want to say this, right? Like if you view Nobunaga's statement where he says like anything that enters my N, I instantly chop it. Like if you take that literally, I'd say that's like the highball Nobunaga, but some people might consider it like that's just his real Hatsu ability. Because I've debated some people who told me they think it's like Godspeed. Like they think Nobunaga has like
such
a Godspeed.
NLF, bro. Like no limits fallacy. Just
it's
mean like, oh, he can just scale.
Oh yeah.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. Like that's actually a good thing to mention. It might be because like if you just take that literally, that's highball Nobunaga. He has a Godspeed of his own. Okay, then maybe he would beat Gon then. But if it actually just scales to his normal speed, Gon does have counters to it. Like using the John Ken combo, like you were saying, probably would be his best bet, especially considering like just how locked in and insane his focus is. Him reacting to Royal Guards, him noticing Royal Guards and all this stuff. Like he has a good chance of just being able to win that. Like so my overall statement on it, I would say this is the first Phantom Troupe member that like has some possible win conditions, I would say. But I say it's more likely Gon would win in character, like angry, full power Gon just blitzes up, makes it an up close fight and beats him before the end gets activated. And if he does activate it, he has the John Ken combos. He has paper, blitz behind, punch him, and then just start boxing from there.
He just has so many answers to Nobunaga's kit, honestly. And with Intel, it's not even really a fight. He really is just in a bad position here.
Yeah, and then like the statement you made was really good about like scissors. Like if they try to fight, right, and he uses scissors, he might just chop through Nobunaga's blade and cut him in half, because the scissors actually scales like a good amount above Gon's normal punches, because we saw a Officer Ant was able to block his punches, but the scissor just chopped him in half. Bro, another thing I just thought of, you know how Gon can do running rock? What if he can do running scissors as well? He might be able to.
I mean, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to, honestly. I mean, he's not going to need it, you know, in this fight.
Yeah, it's just that's my overall stance on it. I think this is like one of the first like real debatable ones where it could go either way, but I would slightly lean more towards Gon having like more win conditions, but and you think just overall like Gon's just way more likely to win is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think Gon is way more likely to win. Like he has intel, he's the stronger combatant, he has answers to everything Nobunaga has. The only thing he doesn't have is a vacuum cleaner to knock him out.
Yeah, and that is like such a real bad anti-feat. Him just getting one tap by Shizuku. And I guess one counter argument you can make is just like Hunter x Hunter characters when off guard, their defense seems to scale a lot lower. Like we see Gon gets one shot by Kilua when he's off guard, but the difference is though, like that's Kilua full strength hitting Gon in the back of the head, like with Ko. While Gon's completely off guard, he'd never expect like his like best friend to just like sneak him like that. Yeah, and also like there's another interesting thing you could say in that scene is like Gon was charging Ren to like attack, wasn't like putting any aura into defense, like he just was getting ready to fight. You can make similar arguments for Nobunaga. I just wanted to be like as fair as possible for that guy. But so yeah, now we can talk about Phinks. What's your thoughts on Gon versus Phinks?
So I actually think this one is at least more debatable than the previous one. I was talking to LeeLos before we actually started recording that Phinks' 15 amped up cyclotron might just be more powerful than base Gon's rock. The reason I say this is because we see after he does 15 swings of his arm that he just absolutely, it basically just eradicates and vaporizes the Officer Ant that he was fighting. And Gon's rock, being a 10 times multiplier, it just kind of sends Owl away. So it may just be two different types of like aura, like maybe the cyclotron aura hits you sharper or something, or maybe it hits you and then bursts from the inside of like where it hits you at. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Gon's just sends you flying rather than just destroying your body. And Phinks was just able to completely destroy an Officer Ant. Like, I'm sure LeeLos is going to put the panel up. Like, his entire body was just turned to, like, mush. So, I actually do think Phinks has a good chance. If he has the chance to get some spins in, that his Cyclotron could do some serious damage to Gon. The major issue with this ability is it's going to take time for him to actually charge that up. Is Gon in character and rage like this going to let him get that time? Maybe his best opportunity is when he's charging up a rock or something, but, you know, I don't know. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I think, okay, so I actually view Phinks versus Gon as like a 50-50. This is where I start thinking it could go like either way. Because they have a very similar ability, right? It's pretty much the same thing. And I think you have a really good argument with like 15 windups of Phinks' punch might actually scale above the running rock that he does to the Owl. It becomes much more debatable though when you start factoring in Angry Kid Gon. Do you think the 15 windup scales above Angry Kid Gon's rock as well?
Oh, no chance. I was just talking about like base Gon to, you know, Phinks. 15, you know, it might be a little bit stronger, but the fact, like, okay, even if he does, right? Even if he does, the windup is so much longer than something like Rock. And, like, Rock does take a second to charge up, but, I mean, we saw in that Knuckle fight, to reference what we were talking about earlier, when he uses paper, he's able to do it so fast that Knuckles not able to turn around by the time he's done deflecting paper, and he would have beat Knuckle right there if he didn't run out of aura, you know? So it's not like Rock takes hours and hours to charge up. Yes, there is a brief charge up time, but compared to actually, like, you know, throwing your arm around in a big winding circle like 15 times to even be relative to this power, I think that's just it's a really bad condition to have for that much power when you're fighting someone that's going to be as angry as Gon is here. So while he might be able to take, you know, like a base Gon or something, even in Rage Gon, he could probably hurt him really badly. I don't see him getting this ability off in the first place. Like, the ant he was fighting was taunting him and literally just like, hey, what are you gonna hit me with next? So yeah, that kind of implies that, like, his first attack, maybe it was like 1 or 2 cycles or spins or whatever, right, of a cyclotron. Maybe that just did no damage. If he starts like that in character against Gon and does like a 1 or 2, Gon might just tear his head off, you know, with a rock or something.
When Phinks was fighting that officer ant, if you look at Phinks's fist, it's covered in aura when he hits him. So it becomes debatable on what he was actually using, that the officer ant said that wasn't any good. Maybe, I don't know if it was windups though, because he was like, started sweating from the windups early on. But if you highball it, actually, this is like low-balling Phinks. Just before I say this feat, I don't think this is actually what happened, but if you want to make Phinks look real bad, you can say that he hit him with Ko. He hit the owl with Ko and it just didn't do anything. And then he's like, all right, well, I gotta use my Atsu now.
That would be really bad.
That's like the lowest you could lowball him. I don't think he used Ko. I think Phinks is a strong character. I actually think, like, even without the Hatsu ability, I think he's like relative to Knuckles somewhat. I think he's like relative to this like Knuckle, Kite tier and Bra physical.
I still think we're a little bit of ways from characters that can really handle and Rage Gon. Even if these characters probably, yeah, maybe they can beat, you know, base Gon more times than not. In Rage Gon, he's just presented to be a higher tier of character, and there comes a point when no matter how much Nin combat proficiency you have, if you're fighting someone so overwhelmingly stronger than you, where you're gonna get one shot, you know, by their Hatsu, that they can do while moving, which is their specialty, by the way, enhancement Nin. It's a really difficult thing to counter. So
yeah, I think honestly, I did a video in the past talking about Kite versus the Phantom Troupe as well, and like I do not see Phinks beating Kite at all. But Kite also
me neither. I definitely would lean Kite. Kite just has better lore as well.
Yeah, Kite's like pretty broken. He just has a lot of like dangerous Hatsu, but it's kind of hard to say like exactly where Phinks scales overall, because like you said, there's not a lot of scaling chains for him. But the truth is though, Gon did way better against the officer ants. Like one thing I wanted to bring up, I talked about it a bit earlier, like the fact that the owl ran away before he even knew what rock was. Meanwhile, this other officer ant is like saying, I can't even feel your punches, is kind of something to think about, right?
Yeah, that is crazy.
From the owl's perspective, he was thinking like, oh, if he just punches me a lot, I'm cooked. The other one was like, that punch did nothing. So little, I'll let you hit me again for free. So it's interesting, and they were both like, I think a lot of their strength is determined by what animals was infused into them, but
yeah, like for their like base stats, you're saying?
Yeah, like their base stats, but it's hard to say. We don't actually know all the exact animals that went into what makes each Chimera ant, but yeah, that is an interesting thing. It starts to like bring up questions like, is even normal Gon like somewhat relative to Phinks already, and then like when he's angry, he's way above, or at least somewhat above, especially since you see stuff like Kilua one-tapping Ramot. Oh, bro, this is something that's actually crazy. You know, there's a statement where it says that Palm was physically stronger than Kilua.
I think I was talking to someone the other day that told me Palm like Ant Palm was like stronger than Kilua, or like base Kilua.
Yeah, so it's like these are the kind of things that like really make it seem likely that like angry Kid Gon is like physically stronger than Kilua as well. Like, I mean, imagine you take Palm, put her in front of Pito, and Kilua's like, oh man, even Pito couldn't handle Palm.
Yeah.
like without
yeah, that's
that,
just
like,
not ever in the cards.
Yeah, so
Ever.
So it's like the fact that Kilua's out here one-tapping officer ants that have Nen, even that is a lot more impressive than like pretty much anything Phinks did. Because Kilua did that no Hatsu, and then Gon scales above that, and it just gets crazy. So I think overall Gon might be like still physically stronger than him with no Hatsu. And it just comes down to who lands their Hatsu really, and I think Gon would be slightly more likely to land it. This is where I would say the fight could go either way. But what's your stance on it overall?
Yeah, either way for like Enrage Gon?
That's kind of where I'm at, because I'm trying to be as nice as possible. I think it could kind of go either way. Let me put it like this. No Hatsu, Gon's more likely to win. With Hatsu, it's like 50-50 whoever lands. That's kind of like my stance on it, but what do you think?
See as let's just say they're relative, right? Phinx's kit is just worse. The fact that it takes him time, to actually do what he like, to potentially put out output maybe a little bit stronger than base Gon, right? From the one that was fighting like the officer ants, he might even need a stronger punch to kill someone like Enrage Gon, right? We don't know how much his Ken defense has improved from then. I just think like the fact that it's going to take him time, starts off in character with weaker punches. Enrage Gon is exactly that, enraged. I do think he's definitely a way better matchup in terms of power than Nobunaga. I don't see it in the cards for him to really consistently beat Enrage Gon, although I do think it's a bit closer.
No, that's actually a really good argument, honestly. Next we have Feitan. I think Feitan is like one of the most debatable possible. But what are your thoughts on Feitan versus Gon?
So Feitan definitely seems implied to be one of the strongest of the Phantom Troupe. While he's rusty, he's just taken on a squadron leader, and he says he's even out of shape during that fight. I
mean, something interesting about Feitan is like he starts out kind of struggling with Zazan, but then like as he gets warmed up, he starts blitzing Zazan, which is pretty interesting. And I think I might do a video scaling the squadron leaders. She had insane defense with her transformation form. Like, she took Ko to the back and it didn't do anything. That's actually a really crazy feat. Like, I don't know if anyone else has done that.
Yeah, no, like he literally just Ko on the blade and it just breaks on contact. And like her power is actually kind of crazy too. She literally just does a random emission of just like, I think Phinks calls it, it was just an emission of weak aura. And it just now Feitan was not defending his body with Nen, but like it literally just throws him back and it gets him so mad that he drops Pain Packer,
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, this might be like a highball interpretation, but you could argue that like Feitan without Nen isn't like that strong. Like, because Gon like at the start of the series, he gets hit by an actual Hatsu ability to the arm. It like just breaks his arm, breaks a couple ribs, but like Feitan, he's not hit by a Hatsu. He's just hit by like an emission of aura, and it like wrecks him.
Yeah. I do think something going for him is his umbrella. He has, now we don't really know. It looks like it's enveloped in aura whenever he shoots. There's like a bullet inside of it that he can shoot. We don't know if he has like multiple of them or what, but it is able to just straight up hurt Zazan pretty badly. It seems like he literally shoots her in the face, and it makes her go so crazy she goes into her transform state. If he's able to like land this on Gon, like Gon's not gonna know an umbrella's a gun. It's one thing if a character like Franklin is using his fingers that literally have holes in them that are like shooting bullets, like he's gonna know to dodge that. he's not going to know the umbrella has a gun, you know? So if he could catch, you know, Gon somehow off guard with this, I think that is something that could maybe hurt him pretty badly, given it did pretty significant damage to Zazan, right? Not to mention, he also just has a sword inside that same umbrella that he could just, you know, take out at any time. He has speed scaling that puts him around base Zazan squadron leader level, which is pretty impressive as well, while he's rusty. So I definitely think he has probably the best stats of the characters we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
He has a weapon. He has a ranged alternative with a mission with the umbrella that most characters aren't going to know about or be expecting at the very least, that could maybe set up something, maybe set up and it's not to mention, in character, he sets up a lot of feints, kind of like Chrollo does in the Hisoka fight. If you remember, like, in the Chrollo-Hisoka fight, Chrollo's just throwing feints and is completely able to catch Hisoka off guard. Kaluto notes this about Feitan and his fighting style, that he just throws like 5, 6, 7 feints like in a row or something like that. So he's a crafty fighter that has a whole bunch of different things he can do with his umbrella. So I definitely think he's probably taken base Gon, honestly. And it's really just, how durable is Enraged Gon? Is he really so durable that, you know, no Nin Neferpito, I've mentioned this a couple times in the recording, can no Nin Neferpito really not like one-shot him or like hurt him really badly? If that's the case, Feitan maybe can't really, you know, hurt him that bad. But like, it also seems like Rage Form Zazan is just, their whole thing seems to be durability. You know, if they're tanking a blade, right, and it literally breaks the blade, it doesn't just deflect it just straight up breaks it. So it's weird. I think he definitely has the best chance out of all of these characters. If he somehow gets hit with enough damage that isn't Rock, because I do think Rock is just killing him on contact.
For sure.
No questions asked. If he somehow takes enough damage to get off Pain Packer, that could be a potential win con for him.
Yeah, I pretty much 100% agree. I mean, like, the interesting thing with Feitan, I would say Feitan with no sword is probably losing. Like, I don't think he has, like, the physical strength to go hand-to-hand with Gon, angry Kid Gon, and not die. The problem with his Hatsu as well is that it has a charge-up time. Like, so it's like, first he puts on the armor, and then he starts, like, charging the Pain Packer, and then he fires it. And it took so long that all of the Phantom Troupe were able to, like, run away and escape. If he's going into Pain Packer, right, the question is, like, could Gon just one-shot him with Rock while he's charging up Pain Packer? Because Gon probably wouldn't run away. Gon just, like, doesn't do that.
Right. And I will say, during Pain Packer, it seems to be that all the aura from the attack goes into his body and around his armor, and then it's transferred to, like, the actual, like, sun thing. Yeah, I'm sure LeeLos will put up the panels. It seems like his body is protected by that aura until the attack comes out. If it is, maybe that could help protect him. I still don't know if that would be enough to just straight up protect him from Rock, because, I mean, a 10 times multiplier on someone as powerful as Gon is at this point is just so insane. So yeah, it kind of is like the Phinks thing I was saying, where if he doesn't have enough time to get this ability off, it doesn't really matter. You know, there's a lot of characters with strong abilities. If you can't get those abilities off, guess what? You just lose. So
it's interesting because, like, he puts on armor, and Zazan says the moment she sees the armor, she's like, oh, he's clearly stronger than before. So, like, the armor itself might give him an amp of some kind, or it's like what you were saying, like, just buffs his defense. We don't really know because, like, Zazan just stood there watching it happen. But Gon is like a psycho.
Yeah, like, why didn't Zazan do anything? Zazan's just standing there.
I don't know, bro. Like Zazan just stood there and just watched all of this happen instead of trying to evade or attack him. But Gon's a psycho, so he's probably charging in with a rock and trying to, like, cook him with it. Like, someone like Kilua would do the smarter thing and just dip. But someone like Gon is a psycho. He might just actually try, like,
yeah,
like, just try to punch him right there. So I don't know. It's debatable on whether or not Phaeton would be able to survive that because, like for example, exhausted Gon at the start of the Chimera Ant arc, like after he finished the 3 hour of Ren training, he still one-shots full power Knuckle with it when Knuckle uses Ko to defend himself.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough, man. I think Rock is just, it's so crazy.
Yeah, but so I think like the big thing of the debate though is like how does Gon interact with Phaeton's sword? Because like we don't really see a lot of examples in Hunter x Hunter of how like a normal Nen user or like how a Nen user interacts with someone who has a blade, like a blade covered in Nen as well. We don't see a lot of examples of it. So like, for example, would Gon be able to just block the sword, or does the sword just cut through his Nen defense? We don't really see a lot of examples. Like Zazan was able to counter it because Zazan's like was using her tail, and her tail is like a blade too. It's kind of weird. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, would Gon just be able to block and parry the sword, or does he have to dodge everything? Because if he has to dodge everything, that gives the advantage to Phaeton, and I lean towards Phaeton winning. But if he can like parry the blade, it's starting to become more 50-50.
It just seems like there's so much that needs to go in Phaeton's favor. Honestly, even though he is more versatile than some of these other members, that I just think Gon's incredibly, his speed and his power are just going to be too much before Phaeton really gets off his win con.
I kind of lean more towards Phaeton a little bit. This is where it gets tricky, right? Like, I think Phaeton might be the overall more powerful Nen user. It is a really debatable one. I see arguments for both sides. I think the big thing though is just how does the sword interact with Gon? Like for example, if Gon's still at his fishing rod, I'm leaning towards Gon because I'd say he'd have a solid counter to it. Just coat the fishing rod in aura, he can block it. But it's like, it's tough to say. Like if he has to dodge the whole time, that gives Gon a disadvantage. Like he wouldn't be able to just parry and counterattack quite as easily, you know? But yeah, this one I could go either way on. Let me word it like this though. If you use highball Gon, then Gon wins. Like if you're using the highball interpretations of him and you take every statement literally, like if you say stuff like, oh, he's stronger than he was when he was gonna one-shot Morel, then he just scales way above. Because like, for example, Gon, even before Gon charged Rock, even before he charged it, just him getting angry scared Morel more than any of the squadron leaders Morel faced. And like,
yeah, that's it. Everyone on the scene breaks into a sweat. I think just from seeing Gon charge up Rock there.
Yeah, and it's like even before he charges it, there's a panel where they just see Gon's face get angry. He hasn't even charged anything yet. It's just like his whole presence changes, and Morel is shook by just his presence alone. And like, he fights multiple squadron leaders no sweat. Meanwhile, Phaeton is like going extreme diff with one squadron leader. So like, Gon overall might legitimately just be a stronger... It's tough, man. He might legit just have better stats than Phaeton, to be honest. Him just being angry might have better stats. I think the only thing giving Phaeton a real advantage is like the sword. So, like people would say speed, but I don't even know if he has speed over Angry Kid Gon, bro. To be honest, I think I'm leaning 60-40 towards Phaeton in this one, just like because we don't really know how the sword would interact with Gon's body. Even though I think Gon is physically stronger, I'm just not sure how the sword interacts, so I'm slightly leaning more towards Phaeton, but you're leaning more towards Gon on this one?
Yeah, I lean more towards Gon. I definitely see instances where Phaeton can win. I don't think it's like no shot. Like, I don't think it's like a Bono situation. So I think he's definitely the strongest member that we've talked about so far with the highest probability of winning. Okay,
so now all that's left are like the top tiers of the Phantom Troupe, really. We got Uvogin, and then we got Hisoka and Crollo. Just real quick, I think it's just safe to... Oh, and you can throw in Illumi. Real quick,
I was about to say, do you want to talk about Illumi, or...
Yeah, I mean, just real quick, I think Illumi, Hisoka, Crollo, Gon's not ready for that tier of fighter yet. They just have like too much experience. They're too crafty, too powerful overall. Even like the way I kind of scale it, I have like I was saying, I think Angry Kid Gon, there's real good arguments for him being above base Kilua and raw strength and maybe even speed. I also have Hisoka like in that tier too, but I mean, it gets debatable who's physically stronger between Hisoka and Gon. But Hisoka makes up for any disadvantage he would have with just way more experience, being way too crafty. He takes on like Nen Masters, giving them all the advantages possible, wins all the time. Like, he just has too much going for him to lose to Gon. Chrollo's very similar, just way too crafty, way too many abilities, way too many hacks. And Illumi is like relative to Hisoka, so the same would apply to him. So
right,
yeah.
So something I'll say is, and this is a bit contentious on what Hisoka is actually talking about, but the whole Hisoka Zodiac interaction where, you know, he's kind of power scaling them, and we don't really know what grading metric he's using. Now, I will say, he calls out Illumi's number of 9.5 before he even sees him. So that could imply that he's just measuring like the total aura pool of whoever he sees or feels, right? Because like he didn't even see Illumi. He just sensed 9.5, turned around, Illumi was there, right? If you do believe the Zodiacs when they say, okay, we're all above Morel is above squadron leaders, usually, you know, beating them up. Barring Cheeto, he's kind of an anomaly in speed. That's a lot of tiers over just base Gon and speed for Hisoka and Illumi. Okay, it's like, is Angry Gon that many tiers above to make up that speed gap? And then you get to how crafty Hisoka, I mean, he's a brainiac in every single fight. You know, like, you start reading Hisoka fight, and by the next chapter, you're blown away by his plan. You know, he's like a super cyber mind. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's just too smart. And even though this goes for Illumi, Hisoka, Chrollo, any of them, I do think Enraged Gon has the power to heavily incapacitate, if not kill them. Just their speed and craftiness, battle wit, I think is just too much. You know, I don't know what Chrollo, are we using Chrollo from, you know, the fight with the Zoldyx? He's got the Ben's knife. If he just touches,
oh yeah, he's cooked.
Gone with that. It's fun cloth, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does he do? And all of these characters kind of have a higher speed assertion than Angry Gon, or at least you'd have to really, really wank Gon to get him a lot faster to where they couldn't even react to him. So it seems more like this is the tier where it's like, okay, even if you do have overwhelming power, that's not enough to beat these just genius Nen users, basically.
I completely agree. You know, like, and even though Morel is like stated to be weaker than the Zodiac, I honestly still have Morel above Gon too for the same reasons. Like, just his Hatsu ability is so versatile, like, and he's so crafty. I also would put him
also the clones is a really, really good counter as well.
Bro, one thing about Morel is when he's at full power, he's basically just a one-man army because he can make 216 clones. Yeah, he's insane. Like, there's like a Nen Master tier, and I actually think Morel might be a Nen Master. I think he is. That's debatable. Some people don't think he is, but he does. He is the one who's like telling Kilua, hey, well, Nen Masters, like, they think like this. So, and he's standing right next to Netero saying this. Like, Netero doesn't just like little bro him and say like, dude, what would you know about Nen Masters? like, that would actually be so embarrassing. Morel just trying to look cool, and he's like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. But
yeah. So that really only leaves Uvogin.
Yeah.
You want to get into Uvogin here?
Yeah, so, okay, Uvogin is interesting because, like, the only time we see him fight is against a bunch of bums. He fights the Shadow Beast, the Shadow Frauds, and, like, low diffs them all, which is, I mean, not really even that big of a deal. They're actual frauds. They don't really do anything. And then he fights Kurapika and gets packed up. Uvogin has impressive power, right? Like, there's a big debate about what's stronger, Uvogin's Big Bang Impact or, Angry Kid Gon's Rock. There's a lot of interesting debates there because, like, we legit see Kurapika, like, off-guard Kurapika blocks 100% Big Bang Impact. And, like, his arm isn't torn apart or anything. He breaks his arm, but Kurapika does block the attack.
That, like, the Phantom Troupe has, like, cards during the York New arc that kind of describes their abilities in the manga. It does say that Uvogin focuses his entire aura into his fists. I mean, this is not just, this is not Gyo or something. This is Ko, okay? He's literally using Ko and Big Bang Impact. And it kind of is just like, okay, maybe Kurapika's just that strong. Maybe these two characters are just isolated and we don't really know how they scale to the rest of the verse. It just depends so much. How do you scale Uvogin? How do you scale Kurapika?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, another thing is like his speed does not seem that impressive. But again, you could just make the argument that Kurapika's just this broken. Like you can make
maybe Kurapika's just actually god tier.
Yeah,
and just hasn't fought anyone since then. Really, honestly.
You can make that argument, but it's like Kurapika was blitzing him while he was at 50% power, and then even when he goes 100%, he's like not confident in his speed on its own. He makes a smoke screen first, and then goes into Ian like he's hiding, and then Kurapika still reacts to him. So like, I don't know. It's hard to scale his actual speed, but like based on that, it does make him look not that fast. But then yeah, you could just say Kurapika is super fast. It's tough to say, but overall, something else that should be noted is like the Shadow Beasts were able to bypass his Nen defense and hurt him. Like they were able to like cut into him. And stuff.
Yeah, isn't one able to like bite him? Like they like bite his shoulder or something?
Yeah, one of them like bites through his shoulder. But there are other debates. Like people say like maybe Uvogin fought them at 20% the same way he did against Kurapika at the start of their fight. You could make that argument. Yeah, it's Uvogin is tough.
I
because
wouldn't be
he
surprised
just gets,
if he was holding back on the Shadow Beast.
You think he was going all out?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if he was holding back on the Shadow Beast. I mean, considering Kurapika was someone that he was holding back on or whatever as well. Like, it just seems like something in character that he just likes to kind of toy and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, overall, he's stated to have the physically strongest body of the Phantom Troupe, so he's, like, physically stronger than Chrollo is, but, like, Chrollo just wins by being a better fighter and having, like, crazy hacks and stuff. Like, Chrollo, like, no joke, Ben's knife diffs him, dude. Like, if they fight, Chrollo just one-taps him with the Ben's knife.
Yeah. Speaking of Chrollo, he does say, this is something, I guess, to potentially scale Uvogin, like, Uvogin can beat just about anyone in a 1v1. It's a bit tough to scale that statement. Like, who does Chrollo have knowledge on, like, power-wise? Does he know about the Zodiac's power? Does he know how strong Current, Silva, and Zeno are, right? This is, if I believe, isn't this pre-Silva and Zeno fight?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, it sounds like a good statement, but then it's like, who is he? If we're comparing him to the rest of the Phantom Troupe, it's like we kind of already think Uvogin's stronger than most of the troupe anyways.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what does that really get us?
Yeah, and I think there's a statement where it says something like Uvogin, he's weak to people with tricky abilities. Or like Nobunaga says something like that. Like there's no way he'd lose a fair fight. They had to use tricks to beat him, something like that. But overall, to be honest, I lean more towards Uvogin. I think it gets tough because there's really no solid way to scale him to like people like Gon or anyone else really. He just fights Kurapika and gets packed up. So but
it's not even really like we get to see the full extent of like his durability against Kurapika either. Kurapika really only starts beating on him once he's in Zetsu, and it's his physical body. And like, how durable is he? Can he tank a rock? We don't really know. I'd probably lean Uvogin just based on the Chrollo statement. It does seem implied to be that he's one of the strongest members, but it's kind of like, how strong is that? We don't really know. It's just, take a guess. Is he strong? Is he not?
I have seen arguments for Gon's Rock being above Uvogin's Big Bang Impact, though. Like, I've seen people say, like, Gon's Rock is supposed to be, like, a Royal Guard tier attack. You know how there's a statement where it says, like, each one of them is, like, 1/10 of Yuppie's strength?
Oh, yeah, it's like Kilua, Knuckle.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, like, Gon's Rock makes him 10 times stronger, so you could just say it's like, oh, he's Royal Guard tier with 1 rock, you know? Like, I've seen...
Oh, I guess that is an interesting comparison, yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen that argument, and it's like, does he have any argument for being Royal Guard tier? I say no. Like, I think honestly, he could charge Big Bang Impact. I think Pito could catch it, like, just one hand block.
Yeah. Something else is like, okay, do we think a full power rock would do the same damage to Kurapika? I don't know. I kind of feel like it would do more damage to Kurapika.
I think it's doing more, bro. I don't know. Like, bro, if Morel can't block that full, but like Morel going buff mode is like, oh, he's going to one-tap me. And he didn't even...
Yeah, and he's on guard for it.
He's on guard for it, and Gon wasn't even fully charged, bro. He said like one of the chants. He wasn't finished like with the chants. He wasn't finished charging it. Also, Gon can like go beyond that, right? Like we see in Greed Island, if he charges up his Ren first and then channels Ren into Rock, like it's stronger. So like, yeah, I think there's a really good argument for Gon's Rock scaling above Big Bang Impact, but I just lean more towards Uvogin. They're both enhancers. I think Gon's beating the 20 and maybe even 50% version of Uvogin. It's just like Uvogin full power is just like really hard to scale because he does like almost nothing. Like as soon as he goes full power, Kurapika has him in chain jail and he's fried. So that's the real problem.
Yeah.
I think I would put it like this, like going above 50% Uvogin, but it's like question mark of if he's above 100%. He might just, like, honestly, the same way Kurapika's blitzing 50% Uvogin, Gon might do the same thing. Just darting around, like, punching him in the back of the head. But, like, it's just so hard to scale. We don't know, like, what level of power they were using in that fight. Yeah, no, that's everybody. Well, I guess there's one other member. It was the member that Hisoka killed to join the Phantom Troupe himself, but they're completely featless. And then also, Silva killed one, and he said it wasn't easy either. But that guy is also featless, so we don't know anything about those two.
Overall, I think Enrage Gone takes most of the Phantom Troupe out. The very, very top dogs probably are still beating him, and then there's a few kind of at the top middle of the Phantom Troupe that it could sort of go either way with. Overall is sort of our conclusion on it.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, very solid. You know, another video I'm thinking of doing in the future is like, if Gon and Kilua work together, how far would they go? I think that's a really interesting one because they have crazy combo attacks, but maybe that's something we could do in the future.
That could be crazy.
Yeah, that's everything I wanted to say in this one. You guys go check out Dark World's channel. He makes really good Demon Slayer videos, and he's been making Hunter x Hunter videos lately too. You'll really like his content. He makes great stuff. Make sure to check him out. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the views and the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see ya on the next one.